A former employee is accusing a luxury car dealer in Blue Ash of improperly using its Paycheck Protection loan as an excuse to cut sales commissions.
The WCPO 9i team discovered the allegation in a new federal lawsuit. Investigative reporter Dan Monk explains how this is one example of how COVID-19 giving a boost to whistleblower activity in the U.S.
When Cincinnati's Land Rover and Jaguar dealership got a Paycheck Protection loan in April, it touched off a controversy that landed in federal court last week. Former Jaguar salesman Jeffrey Maddox claims in a lawsuit filed September 21st that he was fired in August for objecting to potentially fraudulent activity with the dealership's PPP loan. Owner Ed Naira took out the loan during the pandemic under his company, Naira Motor Cars, LLC. He tells the I-Team that the firing had nothing to do with the loan. He says, quote, "I can guarantee you we went by the rules." Naira wouldn't talk on camera. Maddox, through his attorney, declined to comment. Jennifer Pasella is an assistant professor of business law at Indiana University. She says the case is an example of increased whistleblowing activity since the start of the COVID-19 pandemic. In May, the U.S. Securities and Exchange Commission said whistleblower tips were up 35% this year, sparking hundreds of new investigations.
The typical disincentives to blowing the whistle don't really exist as much, now, because people are kind of distanced from their offices and their workplace.
The lawsuit alleges the dealership changed its sales commission policies at about the same time it got the loan. It says Maddox and others began to see settled-up statements that reflected Paycheck Protection funds being deducted from their commissions. It says the company refused to explain the practice when employees objected. So Maddox hired a lawyer to force the issue. He says Naira fired him because of it and claims in doing so, Naira violated the federal whistleblower statute. LJ Suzuki isn't connected to this lawsuit, but he's an expert in PPP loans. He learned the rules of the program while working as a chief financial officer for several small companies through a Denver-based startup called CFO Share.
There is nothing in the Paycheck Protection Program that says that you should be deducting funds from your employees' paychecks in order to reconcile differences in that program.
Pasella says Maddox won't have to prove the dealership violated the rules of the PPP program to win the lawsuit, since the case is an employment claim.
As long as this particular employee can be proven that he had a reasonable belief of any kind of fraudulent behavior, he will be protected from retaliation regardless.
Naira tells me he hired lawyers and consultants to make sure he followed the rules of the Paycheck Protection Program because, in his words, we didn't want to get into this mess. Dan Monk, WCPO 9, I-Team.
Well, the Blue Ash dealership is one of 4 Naira companies that were approved for Paycheck Protection loans, according to SBA data. For details on those other loans, check out Dan's digital story. It's on WCPO.com.